We're at Loveday 4x4 Park. It's the Loveday 400 off-road race, and it's Saturday. There's been 2 heats today, both of them completed in different conditions, and we're here with Glenn Brinkman. How did heat 1 go, Glenn?
Yeah, the first heat was, we had a few issues. Started off quite well. The suspension in that car is just brilliant. But I've just felt a bit odd on the first lap around, and sort of worked out eventually that we'd probably broken a drive shaft. But it wasn't really holding us up too much. And then just at the end of the first lap, we picked up a flat tyre as well. So I thought we could get around the next lap. We got passed by a fair few people, but it was still quicker than stopping to change a tyre. It's a 7-8 minute exercise to do a tyre in the car, so we figured that we'd soldier on, and then about 5 k's from the end we broke another drive shaft. So yeah, it was we just made it here enough with to get back to service so that we could do the next section.
It was cold and miserable and wet this morning, a bit of a different track condition.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was really cold and really wet, and it was quite slippery. A lot of clay section, so very slippery, especially in this stadium section. So yeah, it's a bit to be careful of.
I didn't wake up this morning thinking that I was going to get wet while racing, so that was a brand new experience for me. I think the most challenging part of that is, well, one, not only it's cold, but the pace notes. They're not laminate, they're not waterproof, so I found that quite challenging. The notes are a little bit worse for wear. I'm currently rewriting them because they're ripped to shreds. Bit of paper mache in the car, arts and crafts.
So a lot of people don't use paper notes at all. They use a GPS device and electronic devices, but for you it's a real issue.
It is, but at the same time, I think electronics probably wouldn't go so well in the weather either way. So I think no matter what method or channel of notes you're using, you're going to come up against challenges. So it just depends on the severity, I guess.
Now, heat 2 was a little bit drier, the sun was out, it was a bit warmer. What were the track conditions like for you?
Weirdly enough, I actually preferred the morning when it was raining, because there was no dust, there was nothing. It actually was a really nice, smooth track. It was a bit more chopped up this afternoon, a bit more dust when overtaking was happening, but still not too bad. I think today we've had everything thrown at us that possibly could, between, drive shafts, notes breaking, intercom stopped working. It's just been a really all-round challenging day.
The second heat, a bit different, and a few more dramas again.
Yeah, it was a dry track, and dust is out there. So, but we started off pretty well again, and we've resolved what it is now. We know what the drive shaft issue is, but we broke another drive shaft in the first lap. So we pulled off into the pit area after lap 1, and they cut that out with an angle grind.
Good? I'm not. Huh? 2-wheel drive. No, can't I lock the diff? 3-wheel drive.
We finished the rest of the next 2 laps in 3-wheel drive, so a bit tough, but the main thing is that we've got to keep circulating, and you see what happens at the end of the weekend. There's still another 5 laps after this yet, so the track's really rough, so I expect there'll be a fairly high attrition rate, which may help us.
200, pressed into fast 10 left.
Now, we talked a little bit about it yesterday after prologue. There's 2 competitions really running. There's a class competition, there's an outright competition, and the points work out different for both.
Yeah, you can miss a heat here and still do very well in class points for the weekend, whereas outright, side by side, you have to finish the whole weekend, every heat, every section and everything as well. So yeah, so obviously the outright is what we're concentrating on. So yeah, so just keep going and keep resolving the problems, and get to the end.
Because from a class point of view, you score points just for starting, is that right?
Yep, you get points just for starting, don't even have to finish. So it's a bit odd, but that's the way it rolls. But it's quite a high point system too. So you can still do quite well if you just finish a section.
In the outright category though, if you start it, you don't get any points, do you?
No, you've got to finish. You have to finish every heat, every section. So yeah, it's outright's what we're looking at.
And again tomorrow, another repeat of what we did today, another 5 laps.
Yeah, 5 laps of extremely cut up track there, so it's going to be very hard on the car. So probably tomorrow's when you've got to nurse it.
And is that the plan for you, nurse the car around?
Yeah, well, hopefully if we resolve this drive shaft issue, I think we'll be able to push a lot harder than we have, but still preserve the car.
Brown, 6 left into 6.